Well, it looks like you want to learn a little bit more about the tomb of Mr. Edgar Allan Poe. Well, let's get in on the history. Edgar Allan Poe's grave is located in Baltimore, Maryland, and even with all of his accomplishments, when he died in 1849, he was buried in an unmarked grave. However, despite all of Edgar's prolific work and accomplishments, his grave was disappearing. Now, not literally, mind you, but it was overgrown and unattended. So in order to keep his burial site from being lost, a man named George W. Spence placed a sandstone marker on the burial site, except it didn't have his name. It only had the number 80 written on it. Then in 1860, Edgar's Aunt Maria Clem wrote to Edgar's cousin Nielsen Poe from Alexandria, Virginia, stating, "A lady, she called on me a short time ago from Baltimore. She said she had visited my darling Eddie's grave. She said it was in the basement of the church, covered with rubbish and coal. Is it true? Please let me know. I am certain he and I have still friends left to rescue his loved remains from degradation." Nielsen did assure his aunt that Edgar wasn't buried in a basement, but in the family plot. However, when you couple that with the growing rumors of how this poet was laid to rest and the lack of maintenance to that grave, the pressures from Baltimore were growing, and so Nielsen decided to order a proper marble headstone and then promised to maintain the gravesite. While the gravesite was under construction, the headstone was being carved by a man named Hugh Sisson in the monument yard, and this was next to a railroad line. However, before it could be installed, a train ran off the tracks and directly through the yard, destroying the headstone. And unfortunately, the headstone could not be reordered, and today only a sketch by Charles H. Dimmock is all that remains of it. In 1865, a woman by the name of Sarah Sigourney Rice was adamant that Edgar deserved a monument, and he did, but after years of trying to collect donations, she only collected about half. Then in 1874, a man by the name of George Childs threw in the other half, and the rest is history. Now, the same man who designed Baltimore City Hall, George Frederick, designed the monument for Edgar Allan Poe, and Hugh Sisson again executed it. Now, do you think things went smoothly? Well, of course not. Hugh accidentally labeled Edgar's birthday January 20th instead of the 19th, and the monument was actually too large for the gravesite, so the body had to be exhumed and moved to the front corner of the cemetery where there was more room. A year later, the monument was dedicated on November 17th of 1875, and this was attended by all of high society. Did you think the story ended there? In 1913, Orrin Painter placed another stone to commemorate the original location of the interment, however, was placed in the wrong location. It seems like the man who took pride in being mysterious in life also decided to be mysterious in the afterlife.